You can still get your life back. Get your life back. It's real. Get your life back. Get your life back.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Get Your Life Back with Cheryl's podcast. So glad to see you here. For those of you who are new, I am glad to see you here. And I know that after you see this video, you might want to subscribe and like. You might want to hit the bell so you can get new notifications every time I upload a new video with some good strategy. So I am a certified life purpose coach. For those of you who don't know me, I am a certified mental health professional, pastoral counselor, all things to serve people, right? And so that's what this channel is about. And what I mainly focus on helping you break through perceived barriers so you can propel into your purpose, so you can live the life you were ordained to live, so you can make the impact in the world that you was ordained to do. And so that's what this channel is all about. I help you do that. I do it on the channel, and I also do it in a form of coaching sessions with me as well, one-on-one. I have masterclasses. I have classes on Udemy. Well, I have one particular class called How to Brand and Market Your Passion and Your Purpose. There's another one called Purpose Passion Finder Workshop, where I help you learn how to identify what your purpose and passion is, because many times, sometimes we don't know. There's a lot of people who feel like, I don't know. And you may have come out of a situation, it could be abusive situation, a traumatic childhood experience where that was not the focus. The healthy development and nurturing and affection was not part of your story. And so you never learn about who you are. So now you find yourself in this life feeling like you have an existential crisis. Why am I here? What am I supposed to be doing? And even if people point it out to you, it may be hard for you to even receive it and believe it, because you're still trying to figure out your core. And a lot of times that's where you start finding out what is your core values. What are those positive things that come out of your spirit? There's some seeds that also may have been planted in you. And what happens is somebody plants, somebody waters, and it continues to grow. And that's what this channel is about too. I help to water the seed that's already been planted with inside of you, but I help you recognize the fruit. And that's the work of doing the work of finding your core values. You looking at the fruit. If I can use some time and space that God has carved out for me to be able to help people like you, that's what I'm doing. I am serving in my purpose and in my calling. And I like to help other people do that as well. Because if you're in the right space, if you are flowing in your purpose and passion, I do believe that your life is more happier, because you are doing what makes you feel good, what brings you joy and passion, and you help other people. You can pour out when you realize that as well. So I help people break through perceived barriers, right? Things that we think are blocking us. Now, there are things that happen to us that become barriers for us. But if we perceive that this is the end all be all and I can't get over this, then you'll stay stuck. I help you to become unstuck. Enough said. Today's video, today's message is about strategies to help you determine if you are a leader. With all of that said, because many of you are leaders and you don't know that you are a leader. Some of you may have heard that you are a leader naturally, but you did not receive it. You did not co-sign with it. You did not agree with it, because you're still trying to figure out who you are. And so for you, that sounds scary. And even for those of you who know you are a leader, but you never really stepped fully into that role, you might have dabbed and dipped in it a little bit, but maybe it was fear. Again, it could have been a perceived barrier, obstacle, and that obstacle can just be your fear, or because you was never affirmed in life and confirmed by those who love you, those who care about you, or supposed to, or you just didn't even have that kind of environment. It's hard for you to embrace that. It's hard for you to see within yourself. So we're going to talk about some strategies to help you determine if you are a leader. Okay. Some of you are in the stage of developing. God has already positioned you for leadership, but you're still on the job training. You're still learning. Some of you are shifting your leadership style, and some of you're going to find out like, Wow, I didn't even realize I was a leader. I didn't realize that me doing A, B, C, and D lets me know that I'm a leader, lets other people know that I'm a leader. So let's talk about it. One of the strategies or one of the things to determine or attributes to determine whether you are a leader or not is taking feedback from others. Because a leader models behavior. That's why you're leading. Somebody's following your example, somebody's following your posture, your behavior. So your behavior exemplifies, it models, it gives examples for people of what it looks like to be able to receive criticism or constructive criticism or feedback or instruction or opinions of other people. A leader models emotional regulation. A leader doesn't initially take everything personal. A leader is more in control. Now, we have moments where we can hit a miss. That's why we got to do check ins every day with our mental health to see where we are. Understand that we're human. But most of the time, a leader takes out a moment to process things, even if you have the initial automatic thought. If somebody says something to you and you have an automatic negative thought or cognitive distortion, right? A distorted way of thinking or perceiving what they're saying, you take it personal. You take it like as an insult, but they're not really insulting you. They just giving you constructive criticism. Or maybe they're correcting something you said, you've done, whatever it is. But for a moment, you may feel that, right? Because we all have gone through some kind of trauma. So sometimes when people say things that sound familiar or remind us of an incident or a person that we didn't have a good experience with, it can trigger you for a moment. But a leader will process that, stay emotionally regulated enough to have a rational thought process and be able to be reasonable about it. Then they give themselves that chance to come back with something that is rational, or give a feedback, even if it's not, you don't agree, right? You both don't share the same view, or it's contrary to what somebody said or the feedback they gave you. You can do it from a place of calm. You can be reasonable. You can use your wise mind and not your emotional mind. The emotional mind will cause you to react right away. And most of the time, that's going to be negative because you're feeling insulted. So you got to deal with that. That's why we got to deal with that stuff deep down. If you're battling with insecurity, feeling fear, and some kind of, or it's going to cause you to go within inside yourself and go, that's the word, but subconsciously co-signing with that inner critic that you have that says you're not really worthy. What you're saying doesn't make any sense. It's not adequate. It doesn't hold any value. You will dismiss your own beliefs or values and core. So a lot of times you will self-sabotage your own experience. But a leader knows how to bounce back. A leader knows how to respond in a healthy way, right? In a way that's constructive and productive. So that's what a leader does. So again, you modeling a certain type of behavior. You're modeling the healthy way to respond. You're modeling the best way to communicate your concerns, your issues, whatever you're not in agreement with. You can do it in a healthy way and have a healthy dialogue. Another way to determine if you are a leader. Now we have bad leaders and good leaders. Now the question is a bad leader a leader? I don't know. Anyway, let's see. Because you can have the tools of what it takes to be a leader, but we still need to be nurtured and cultivated even in our gifts and our skill set and our talent. The ability to consider your vision and goals. Now, again, it may tap into that self-worth thing, right? The part of you that feels valuable or invaluable. It's going to determine how you view things and how you behave in the earth. Things that we've gone through influence the way we see things. But a leader who's done that kind of work can tap into within themselves and see their own value and their vision and their goals as valuable. They will think about long-term vision and goals. You're going to think about how things affect, change, how the outcome may look. Because you're using that rational, a wise mind. So a leader knows how to tap into the wise mind and not let their emotions take over so they can think clearly and concisely about maybe that vision and that goal that they want to bring into fruition. Leaders have a clear sense of purpose and direction, right? A lot of times you take initiatives as a leader. You got the direction, you're a visionary. A lot of times the leaders are visionaries. So they can lay down the foundation that others can build upon. So they can plant seeds that others can water. That's what a leader does as well. So every leader is not the one to go to start something and finish the vision. A leader may be a planter, someone who lays down the foundation that others can build on and grow, and they can be cultivated. But you set the vision. You created the blueprint for others to follow and carry out. So that's what a good leader does. Again, they have a sense of purpose, they have a sense of direction, they're very ambitious, and they work towards things that are achievable. So that is one other way to determine if you're a leader. Another way, assessing your ability to empower others. Again, look at how you impact people. It may cause you to do a little bit of homework, an assignment. This may be your assignment that I usually give my clients. You can collect feedback, reviews. Here goes that feedback or reviews from people who know you, people who are part of your village. Ask your community what permeates out of your spirit. What do they see the traits of a leader with inside of you? Now you can ask your close people that. Other people you don't want to, maybe you don't want to mention about leadership because you don't know how people feel about you, right? We can't always judge everything. But those who really know you and they're for you, they can give you constructive feedback. But and then go to those who already pointed it out that they see a leader in you. Ask them why. What traits do they see that determine whether you're a leader? That insinuate that you are a leader. You want to find that out. So that's your field work. You're going to do that. You're going to ask people in your community and maybe people outside of your community. How does a leader, or what leadership do you see in me? Sometimes, and that's another topic, leadership styles. But we can do that for another video, right? But this one is to help you understand and see and realize the leader in you. So that's an assignment for you. So when you do that, and you see the leadership in you, you're able to see your ability to have major impact on people, the ability to empower other people as well. You'll be able to evaluate your ability to develop others because a good leader also develop other people and develop other leaders as well. Yes, they do that. They have the ability to cultivate, to collaborate, to delegate. Now, some of you are leaders, but you're still working through some fears, intimidation. You're working through what's the word I'm looking for? Imposter syndrome, where you don't fully embrace your skill set, your abilities. And so you operate from a fear-based perspective. I don't even say perspective, fear-based, period. So you do things fear-based. And sometimes that causes you to minimize your own ability. Also, you may minimize other people because you feel threatened and have fear of them, that they're better than you or they can do this better. You see how this stuff can play out? And this is the stuff you need to assess. So this is part of your assessment. Assess if you find yourself doing those things and why you are doing them. Where does the root come from? Now that's when you work with me one-on-one. That's the stuff we get into, the deeper stuff. Why do I do that? Why am I dismissing other people? Do I feel threatened by them? Am I insecure? Do I, whatever. That may be the subconscious behavior that you're actually doing, right? Okay. So let's go to another one. You are able, and I talked a little bit about this, to evaluate your emotional intelligence. You assess your level of emotional intelligence. Again, when you don't respond emotionally from an emotionally immature place and space. You know how to listen, process, and respond in a healthy way. You learn how to assertively communicate how you feel, how you think, right? But with the assertion or assertiveness, you can also listen to other people without getting emotionally dysregulated without misperceiving everything, without hearing something completely different other than what they've said. Because now, if you in your emotional mind, you're not going to hear clearly. You're allowing your emotions to govern you. And if they govern your thoughts, now they govern your behavior and how you will respond. So you're able to assess the level of emotional intelligence you have. And also, with emotional intelligence, there's a high level of empathy that you have and compassion for others. So a good leader knows how to lead and direct without being mean and demeaning, because a good leader cultivates and develops. So when you see a leader who seems to be mean and nasty, that's not a good leader, because a good leader is always to develop. There's a purpose in the constructive criticism that a leader gives. It is always to help the person, not to make them feel less than. That leader is operating again from a fear based behavior, because they're fearful of something. So they feel like, just like a bully, they feel like they have to treat other people a certain way to feel good about themselves and feel like they're in charge and they're in control. Something deep down inside of them tells them that they're not, and that they're not good enough. And so they follow along with that, not even knowing it sometimes. Okay, so your self awareness comes along with emotional intelligence, the ability to empathize with other people, the ability to try to put yourself in other people's shoes, to try to understand their worldview, where they come from, and where it's rooted at. You have to learn to go where people are. You become a better leader when you can do that. And then you'll be more effective, because if you meet people where they are psychologically, because we have a psychological age, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, then you can meet them at that point again, and that is the foundation from which you will work at with people, and then it builds. That's what a good leader does. A good leader has a strong skill set at problem solving, and even if they, again, we don't know all the answers. I don't care. You can be the best leader in the world and you don't know everything. A good leader knows how to collaborate. A good leader knows how to seek other people for help, consult, because a good leader wants to be equipped. A good leader knows that they're always on the job training and learning as well, even in their role in leadership. They are learning and growing, and they know how to seek advice from other people as well. People who are maybe experts in the same field they're in, or have a certain level of knowledge and understanding of something. You're not afraid, because you don't look at it as a threat. You look at that person as help, and you look at it as you're learning and you're equipping yourself to be even a better leader. That is the difference in between the mindset that is love based and empowered, or compared, that's a better word, to the person who's operating out of fear. A good leader knows how to reflect on things that worked or didn't work before, or on past experiences, right? Because that's where you're getting a lot of information from. The stuff that we learn, our skill set comes from a place of experience, education, knowledge. And so sometimes a good leader has to know how to kind of look back on things to see how things are going to work, what didn't work, what will work. And then after that, you learn how to take initiative based on that. So a lot of times we're influenced by something that happened in the past, and we're able to kind of look back. So we know, again, thinking critically, that's a good word, about things. And part of thinking critically is learning how to reflect, gain information if you need. That's like going back to a book or a textbook for reference points, right? Studying, because there's so many things that we can, and we can't just hold it all at one time. Sometimes we have to go back to the recesses of our mind. Sometimes we have to open up some textbooks and some literature or some articles. That's what a good leader does. There's no shame in that. We don't know everything. And sometimes we need a refresher, or we may need to remind ourselves. So a good leader will remind themselves of things, because a lot of times when you're doing something, you're not focused on the same thing all of the time. So you may have to go back. A good leader knows that. That's being accountable. That's being responsible with information. Maybe you're doing a fact check. That's all part of reflecting and processing. The last one, but not least, a good leader knows how to assess communication skills. So even looking at yourself, am I communicating this in the best way? We all can mess up with communication. We can get distracted in our thought. I sometimes fumble over words, because especially now. I feel like I'm fumbling over words even more. And so I would ask, again, not feeling threatened. I would tell people that I'm talking to, it could be a crowd or a group. Did you guys understand what I just said? If you did not, I will reiterate in a better way. I will try to communicate it in a way that you can understand. A good leader knows how to use different methods of communicating something to a person. Again, it goes back to going where people are so you don't go over their head. That also informs us that we have to know our audience. Who are we talking to? Why are we talking to them? What problem are we trying to solve? Once you already know all of those things, again, now you do the work and prepare. A good leader prepares him or herself to serve people because, again, you're reflecting or you're being empathetic. It is called empathy preparation or preparatory empathy. You're already thinking about the audience before you even encounter them. You're already thinking about the problems that they may have and the issues and even the questions that may come up. So when you can do that ahead of time, you better position yourself to help people solve problems. So that's like doing your homework. That is preparing yourself mentally. You're preparing yourself intellectually, and you are preparing yourself mentally and emotionally, because you are preparing yourself for the response and the feedback so it doesn't startle or trigger you. You can almost prepare. Now, sometimes there's some things we just don't always know what people are going to say, but if you practice doing this work, you'll be better prepared and equipped to handle and to process what is actually happening when it happens. So those are my methods today for helping you to determine. There's a lot more. You can find more, but help you determine if you are a leader. And also you can say to help determine if you are a good leader, because I put some nuggets out there that you may have to go back if you're already operating in your leadership role and tweak some things about your behavior, your attitude, your character. So this may be something good for those of you who say, you know what, I want to be better. I want to be a better leader. Maybe I need to check myself to see, am I operating from a love base, a healed point in my life? Because if I'm not, I may be projecting the wrong stuff to other people and doing more harm than good. A good leader checks those things. Again, that's why it's good to have mentors. That's why it's good to have people that you can go to and you can sit down and have a real honest conversation. These are people who care about you. So if you already know they're giving you any kind of advice, it's coming from a place of love and care because they care about you. They want you to be your best. All right. So you know what? I have another video that I want you to watch for those of you who want to still do the work of fine tuning what it is you're called to do, your purpose and your passion. I have a video. I think I'm either you may see it here, or I'm going to put the link and let's just say and I'm going to put the link in the description box so you can click on the video that is titled My Purpose and Passion Finder, How to Monetize My Purpose and Passion. Because I brought that up before. That's what I help people do. And if you want to know how to do that, you can look for that in the description box. You want to learn different ways to monetize your passion and your purpose. All right. Thank you so much for following. Thank you so much for listening. I hope this helps somebody, because we're all at different places. But you may say, oh, I know that already. But somebody else is like, oh my God, that's a new revelation. I didn't even know to even think about those things. So we can't take it for granted that everybody don't have all things in common, so we can't take it for granted. That's why I never really believed in the saying of everybody has the same common sense. Or we don't. We have different places. We come from different cultures, different type of family environments, and so we don't have the same common sense because we don't think the same. And when we know that, we stop saying things like that, those cliches. Actually, you don't serve people well when you kind of make generalizations a lot of times, but that's a whole nother. Okay, I'm going now. Thank you so much. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Get your life back. Get your life back.